Assalamu alaikum, everyone. It's Arif Khan here once again with Islam Podcast, week number 4. I'm joined here by my good friend Maju. Maju, what's going on, buddy?
Assalamu alaikum. Not much, not
Alaikum
much. Looking
salam.
forward to the podcast.
Yeah, good to have you. We're supposed to get uh, Umair Baksh here as well, but Umair being what he is, the diva, takes him a while to get from the gym back home,
He's probably still getting
doing extra
ready and yeah.
doing extra reps, I guess, right? Yeah. So who do we have on the chat here? I see 12 people. Guys, if you're out there, sign off, or not sign up, but sound off, I should say. Usually we have our usuals, right? We have Riz typically, and Imran. Don't know if they're around.
Imran did say salam early on. We had Ahmed Ibrahim, Ismail Malik, Abdulaziz Khan. So we got some
Welcome.
participants.
This later. I think a lot of our people they join later on, right? They don't watch it live, but they watch it the next day on the way to work or as they're cleaning their jerseys, hopefully. Doing laundry.
What you talking about, man? I don't wash my jersey every season, or sorry, until the end of the season.
Every season? All right, we got yes, sir. We out here. That's Imran right there. Salam, Hamza, why are you there? Wa alaikum salam, Hamza. Welcome. Good to see new names popping up here. It's good. All right. Well, I hope you guys are well. Yeah, thank you, man. Likewise. All right. We won't wait for Baksh too long. He could be sliding around like he normally does. So who knows where and how long it's going to take. So we'll just jump right in, and if he joins, he joins. Just can't work with amateurs, man. Like, so this is what happens when you have to work with amateurs. All right, the format for today is actually pretty simple. We're gonna review last week's games, and then we'll look at some player spotlights. It's a bit of a new segment we're trying to do where we're trying to talk about not just the star players or players who've been performing well, but just everyone on the team. We'll try to hit up over the course of the season. So we'll do that, and then we'll end it off with a quick preview of tomorrow. That's the plan. Now let's see how far we get through this. Oh, speaking of man with a plan, look who it is. Oh, Bakshi.
Assalamu boys. How are you?
Good to have you. Or did you come from the gym or did you come from food?
I came from the Gaim, yes.
Good stuff. All right, let's get into it. The first game of last week, let's see if we can get a better picture out here. There we go. The first game from last week was Haya versus Ikhlas. So this is, again, a game that was touted to, Haya was coming off a very, I think they scored 6 goals in the first week, then they got 1 goal on the next. And this one, I guess they turned it back on and it ended up being a 5-5 game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Now, again, this is very uncharacteristic for Haya, right? They're not a team that has ever, and again, we're talking about teams over seasons and teams change, but their mentality has always been D first. So for me, last week they had 3 against. This week they had 5 against. I'm really surprised. Even with the D that they have Luke who's helping to stabilize the first line.
It's the New Jerseys.
Are they like the sweaters, and they kind of look like sweatshirts almost, really snugly? Are they putting them to sleep?
You guys ask for firepower, they're giving you firepower. Everything comes at a cost, man.
Well, okay, for jerseys, yes. I think these 2 are probably the nicest jerseys in the league. So it was nice to see there. But in terms of the game, right? It's great to see Lukman really stepping up because he's really the heart and soul of that team. They were not happy with their previous week's performance, so they came out pretty hard. I caught the tail end of this game because I was just getting into the arena, so I don't know what the flow of the game necessarily was, but the parts I did catch, it looked pretty intense out there.
It absolutely was, right? So I didn't get there until halfway through the first, but from what I kind of read and from what I saw from and speaking to other people as well, it was just a very back and forth first period, very rough tumble, not a lot of penalties, nothing chippy, nothing scrummy about it, just a lot of hard work. Now, in the second period,
It got chippy and scrummy.
it did. It really did. A bunch of I want to say absent-minded penalties, just some silly penalties taken by Ikhlas early on in the second, which Haya ended up scoring two power play goals,
Yeah.
and your boy Luke managed to score from the point on one of the shots as well.
That's what he does.
Then Ikhlas replied with a shorthanded goal, and then there was another late penalty on the other side where it ended up being a 4-on-4 game. Now, typically, we don't see a lot of 4-on-4 play in our division, in our league, but it was a beauty to watch, and it was capped off by a beautiful play between Hashim Chaudhry and Abdullah Patel, where Hashim just brought it into the zone, dropped it to Abdullah, who was not directly beside the net, but kind of on the goal line, on a little bit to the corner. And Abdullah found him right back in the high slot or in the low slot, and Hashim just threw it right in the back of the net, no doubter. So just beautiful to watch. But as a goalie, I'm going to give you my perspective, and from what I've spoken to my colleagues about, it's a little bit tough. Again, teams are not playing defense, so you're expected to show up and play your heart out. But kind of hard when you make that first save or the second save, and then the team just doesn't get it out. So
to your point, Maju. Sorry, I want to get to it before we kind of move on. It teams are playing defense, but again, I think forwards are just at a premium right now. So I think there's a lot of firepower, and there's not enough solid defensemen out there. So when you're gonna get areas where you have forwards playing D. You have areas where people are pinching, and the forwards that are playing right now, they're gonna make you pay. There's a lot of firepower. I think you said it right in the beginning of the season. Goalies are gonna get peppered. And this is what it is. It's I think 5-5 games are cool, but you know what? It sucks for you, Maju. But you know what? I think I like it. And you know what? I'm gonna shout out before we get into this. Naeem Shah made a crazy breakaway goal that was highlight of the year type goal. I forgot how he got the breakaway. I just remember him going in there and dingling, dangling, and then hitting a top on dingling and dangling. But basically, it was good to see because get your mind out of the gutter. It was good to see because it was good to see him finish. So he has a lot of potential, and it's good to see on that team with good to see that team scoring outside of Hamdani. I think all the cries for help for Hamdani for people to help him out finally worked, and they got 5 goals.
Yeah. All right. So next, sorry, we'll move on. Go ahead.
Just a quick thing. Hamdani was gracious enough. Jazakallah Hamdani. He did talk to myself and Omar Asawi after the game, and he let us know that he's on the podcast listening every single week.
Nice.
And he's still trying to find his legs. So guys, I think we keep saying, oh, he looks so graceful out there and all that, but he even said it. He's still trying to find his legs, and he's not a finisher. He's never been a finisher. He's always tried to be the setup guy. So I think once that team mentality grows and that the team starts clicking and says, oh, I don't need to pass it back to you. I'm going to get it from you. Once they start firing, it's going to be a tougher team to deal with. But Hamdani, again, Jazakallah for talking to us, and guys in the league, please talk to us. We're here to listen. We want to talk to you. Unfortunately, sometimes on the floor, everyone looks exactly the same with the helmets and everything. It's hard to keep a track. But please, come up, talk to me. I want to know everybody in the league if I can.
Yeah, please talk to Maju. He's getting very lonely out there. Poor guy comes before everyone, leaves after everyone's gone. He's sitting alone in the dark. As we're leaving the previous game, also shout out to my boy Saqib. He stepped up to the big line, second star. It's great to see him doing well. I know you guys don't always see much of him on the media, even though he's part of the media team, but he does a lot of.
He does a lot.
He does a great job off and on the floor, I guess. All right, so next game of the week was Ihsan versus Sabr. This ended in a 4-1 win for Ihsan. Bakshi and I were both in it, but Bakshi, I don't think the score quite is indicative of how the game unfolded.
It was a much tighter game than what the score. I think the score really opened up near the end, and it was it was a game where I think us as Sabr, we finally had a lot of our top end players come in, so it was a bit of a gelling game for us. But I think sorry, am I still cracking?
Yeah.
A little bit, but that's fine. I think it's just
but I think it's, you know what, you guys go. Let me check this out.
All right, you figure out your mic, buddy. Yeah, so this game for Sabr, for our team, finally saw the appearance of our GM Farouk Sani, who was in Australia, I think, from the beginning of the year, as well as Adil Chauhan, right, the first overall pick for this year. So it was great to have them into the mix. We, it was nice to have pretty much most of the team on board. But that also introduced the fact that now we're juggling the lines and seeing how things fit. And I think, at least from my perspective, I think Sabr, we played really well. In fact, we had Ihsan hemmed into their zone. I think there was a stretch where it's like 1 minute and 40 seconds. They couldn't even get the ball out. But when they did, there was a goal. And some of the goals that Ihsan scored, it was very opportunistic. It was like a rush in the other direction, and they cross crease or they shot it. And kudos to them. They made the most out of every opportunity they got.
And
they're really great on the counter. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Yeah, we can hear you clear.
I don't want to say anything else about this game because I was in it, so I'm too emotionally tied to it. But as a positive from our end, it was good to see Farouk Sani and Adil Chauhan kind of playing, and I think our team has a lot of potential and definitely a lot of experience. The average age is, I think I'm the second youngest guy on the team, so it's good. We'll see. We can definitely play better than the result is, and we'll be okay.
So on the outside perspective, you guys said this, we finally saw Farouk Sani and Adil Chauhan show up. So we definitely could see, or at least I could see, that there was a gelling process. You guys were still trying to mix up your lines and figure out where everyone could play and kind of that cohesion works. On the other side, not to take anything away from Ihsan and the way they played, they had Zakaria Farak finally show up. Thankfully, the debut, and he's recovered from his injury. And other than I can't remember who the heck it was on the sideline that just kept saying, his jersey's too big, his jersey's too big. You know what? Sorry, guys, you come late, you don't show up until week 3, you don't get your jersey, you don't get your size. So other than that, he did make a splash, and he fits well with the team. So again, this goes back to Dawood, Ali Khawaja, and Mohib Shah, the GMs, that, hey, we were thinking, are they drafting? What are they doing? Are they just going to the same guys and whatnot?
I think that was a Mohib Shah pick. No, that's one of his.
Yeah. So again, they know what they're doing, right? And Ahmed Ibrahim, trust the process. So they did something right, and you're right. Like they have a lot of speed, and they countered. So that counter attack really did burn you guys a few times. Yeah. And I think, again, that cohesion of when you guys figure out who's going to be in, who's going to be out, who's playing with who and whatnot. But again, on your side, Mr. Coker Senior.
2 Cokers on the All-Star list, sorry, 3-star list this week.
Yeah, and then again, Khalil just keeps scoring. There's no stopping this guy right now.
Yeah, we put actually, you know what? We put Khalil, Maz and Baksh on one line. So Baksh.
That was an
Baksh got,
amazing line. I don't know why
he got a taste of the first line.
buddy. You know what? Me and Maz have been great together. Maz definitely helps my production as a thing. So all right, I'm gonna say, you know what? We didn't get scored on, so I would like to be with Maz down the road again.
Okay, we'll see. You have to come on time and have a mic that works. But on the other side, Ihsan, we got to give a shout out to the two top players here, the two Kawaja boys with Papa Kawaja in nets, right? They did fantastic. I mean,
they're
Ryan,
coming. They're coming. They're coming. They're coming to play.
He's last year he won defensive forward of the year, but I mean he showed that he also has a massive offensive side to his game as well, because he burned our defenseman, threw it around, and Daoud got a goal from sliding on his butt. So when it comes to slides, Baksh, I think Daoud has you beat.
I'm coming for you, Daoud.
Yeah, we're Rayan with 3 points and Safe with 2 points respectively. So the Kawaja families definitely pocketed big time.
Zuhair saying that Ali Kawaja should have been a third star. Yeah, he very well could have been, because honestly, Ali kept them in the game, because we had a ton of shots in the first period.
John had like 10 shots himself on.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Game 3, Maju, this is your game. 5-1 Yakin versus Rida. This was the I hate to call it, but this was a Tea Park show, and it was
Where
fun
was
to watch.
the shutout Maju, like brown parents would say?
What happened to the 1%?
Nothing is good enough, eh? I see how it is. Yeah, you know what? The Tea Park guys they just played phenomenal. I don't think Rida really wants to listen to this part of the podcast, so you guys can turn it off but turn it back on right away, because it really was a Yakin show. It was not my show by any means. I only had 4 shots on net and I let 1 in, so go figure. But yeah, I know, 75%. What the heck, Maju? Exactly. But these guys, just from top to bottom, forget the Tea Park guys. Yeah, you have the GMs who are producing. You got the first star GM, and you have Asim Patel, who's also a first rounder pick. But through and through, when you're going down to going through our lines, Hashim Bangat and Tubbs, great players. They're hustling. They're not stopping. And we heard about Tubbs, 6'4", 240 pounds, 6'5", 250 pounds. This man played with a busted finger. Tubbs, I'm calling you out, Mister. Oh, I can't play because I got a little cut on my finger in game 2.
Sounds like a softball player.
But no, it was just a good effort, and I think Rida is looking back on it and just they might be beating themselves up, but you can't beat yourself up, because again, like your game, which went into the second period tied 0-0, ours was very similar. We went into the second period, I believe 1-1 or 2-1. So the game was really close through and through. It's just that acceleration, that speed of Thorncliffe, and just the hustle of everyone just broke Rida down. And most of the game was in that neutral zone. Not a lot was happening at either ends, but that neutral zone, just the trap on both ends and the hustle.
Yeah, let me put this into perspective as well. Rida is basically, you have Kazi and then Abu, the Malton crew, as a lot of people like to call them, right? It's not the same team as last year, but the core is still pretty much there. This is a team that went undefeated, or the core went undefeated and won the cup last season, right?
And you have Yusuf Ingar.
And they have Yusuf Ingar this year as well. And they got schooled. I know they kept it close, but I think this was a good reminder that the success they got, they can't just sit on it. They got schooled here.
And they don't have the Badger this year either.
They don't, but Yusuf Ingar, to his credit, took Jim Hockey over Iceland because he was in the playoffs. So I'll say that he wasn't there.
True.
Yeah. And Zuhair saying, Maju, this game wasn't even close. You know what? Yeah, the shots are not respective, 30-4, definitely not showing it, but it was I
You know,
hate
I
to
was
say it to you, but
I was standing behind the net where on the side of the class, and I forget who I was talking to, maybe Daoud or someone. But they're like, at this pace, Maju's going to win the best goalie of the year, and because he'll have the most wins, he'll have the least goals against.
And the worst
Like,
goals against average.
no, I'm like, well, it depends on save percentage, right? Because those other stats are team based. And then someone said, well, he's let in 1 goal in 4 shots, so that's not the best save percentage. I'm like, nah, don't talk about my boy Maju like that.
no, listen. If I get these games, I don't want the Vesna. I don't want it. Yeah, I got to prove myself more than just getting the wins, right? The first 2 games, yeah, my save percentage was 900 or whatnot. But we have goalies that are posting 95% save percentages per game and
Like
even
Yusuf Kapoor
higher.
right here.
Yeah. So yeah, no, exactly. Ahmed Mobin, you're absolutely right. Where Kapoor played lights out. Yeah, his save percentage was 8.83 or 83%, but definitely not indicative of his effort and the way he played. So if I have to give up, quote unquote, give it up, but give up the Vezina to somebody who deserves it more, absolutely. They, my team as an effort, they play amazing. They're making my life easier. But some of the goalies are just playing, they're like ridiculous this season.
And the chemistry between Abrar and Hamza, Asim, Yusuf, it's just amazing to watch. Like how slick they are, right? They'll make like a few passes and boom, they're gone. And even on the power play or when they set up in the zone, just the patience they have with the ball, just waiting until that seam opens up. It's really fun to see.
I really like how T Park, how they pass and they go. They pass and they go. No one really is standing around. Everyone's running around. Everyone's finding open space, and that just comes down to these guys have played together before, and they're familiar with each other. Even the second, third liners, even though they weren't showing up on the score sheet, they were all hustling. They were all running around. They were all, they're all playing well. And I poked at him earlier. I said, you know what? Besides the first line, no one's really shown me like any spark. But you know what? As a team, it's a team game, and I've seen as a whole, each line comes out and they all play a great forecheck game and they're all fast. So you know what? I think this is the team to watch, and we're gonna put the pressure on them and say, hey, you know what? This is the aim is at them now. I think last season the aim was at Malton. The aim's on them now.
Yep, sounds good. Last game of the night was the Amir Multani show. Welcome to the Mults show.
Mults.
Great to see Multani, putting his complete offensive prowess on display for us because dude had a game and a half.
Yeah, as he could. It's just whether or not, whether with him it's finding the right chemistry with the right teammates. He definitely has the skill. He always has the skill. It just comes down to playing with the right people and getting put in the right opportunities. He's always been a scorer. He can pass too, but he's more of a finisher. And to get people feeding him, balls at the right place, and he's a very high hockey IQ. So. It's good to you need someone else with him that can feed him in the right spots, and there's.
I don't know from the stats who got the goals and assists and whatnot, but I remember seeing a setup where they were in the zone, offensive draw, Taher, who's top tier face-off guy, and I'm thinking it was Taher. Yeah, he just fed a perfect face-off just to the high slot, and Multani just sniped it in, right? And Taher does that time and time again. I've played with him many times, and that's a set play. And it's great to see someone just scoring straight off that.
Yeah, no, definitely. I saw that snipe, and it was just a beauty. Top shelf, no chance for the goalie. I think in this game, we definitely saw the young versus the veterans. We saw a lot of erratic penalties taken by Iman, and some of the frustration coming out, and some of the challenges of that kind of that youth mentality. Of course, they're chugging on all cylinders. They have the speed, but they just couldn't really piece it together. And we've said it. The team knows it. That it really is going to come down to their hard work, and that's what's going to lead to W's. But it's just a matter of finding that. And thankfully this season is long. It's a 12-game season, but we're week 3 right now. I think they really need to find that chemistry right away.
Yep. Bucks, any thoughts on this game?
Taqwa, this is how they're gonna win. They're gonna win by scoring. The Taqwa, they're gonna win by outscoring their opponents. And
most generic hockey comment ever. That's how they're gonna.
They
John
will
Madden,
need
ladies and
more
gentlemen.
goals than the other team in order to get the W.
That's
No,
what we're
but,
not doing right.
No. But just the way this team's constructed, they're an extremely offensive team. And it's good to see Hamza playing well. But I know he's still he has a bit of an injury, but no. The important thing is that they need help on defense, and they can outscore everyone if they really want to, because they have the firepower to. But will it be a 4-1 game, or will it be a 5-1 game, or the 5 game? I think
the week before, I think we were talking about Taqwa and how they needed to get their offense and even their defense set, like you're saying, Bucks, right? And as happens quite often, is we make a comment on the podcast, and then the next week the guys show up because
they're pissed at us.
Yeah, Omar Hussein doing his thing. You had obviously Hamza. He really took it to the next level again. So yeah, I'm glad. I think this podcast lights a fire under people's butts to
good. Be angry.
And then, to be fair, last week they were facing off against Yakin, and they were missing MYC, so that made a difference. But we did see Tahir Maruf not only take the face-offs, he was also playing defense. So Mr. Versatility, Mr. Everywhere on every single play position. I think he can also play goalie. I think he was willing to play net one season where I was having some issues. So yeah, Mr. Versatility was playing on the back end, and I had a chance to speak to Multani after the game, and he just Tahir's been playing great. Everyone's playing well. And I was asking Multani, where did that shot come from? He's like, yeah, man, I'm finding my rhythm. It's been a while since I've played, and after he got married, it kind of tapered off of hockey, but now he's back.
You know what? Insider news says that Multani might have been on the trading block, or at least in trade rumors. But after that performance, he might have solidified his spot on the team. Just saying. But hey, or maybe his value goes up, and now they're going to shop him around for a top defenseman. Who knows?
I think
insider scoop right there.
One thing is, as I think everyone wants Multani on their team after this week, but on a bigger picture, I want to get let's talk about Iman for a second. They're going through their struggles a bit, but you know what? I see a lot of potential on this team, and I see a lot of young kids who have a lot more to give, and I think a little bit more cohesion. And I think this team could be a force. They just have to win by committee.
Yep. All right, guys. Let's move on to the next segment. We're already about half an hour through. We'll try to keep this one pretty quick for player, because we have 8 players to cover. But before we get to that, let's talk about the player of the week here. So the player of the week is none other than Mr. Hamza Jogiat with a goal, 2 assists. Hamza just doing Hamza things. Always fun to watch him play. Maju and I both got to be on the same team last year, or the actual last year. And Maju, obviously, you're playing with him this year. Maju, do you see any what evolution have you seen since the last time you played with him? I mean, he looks even better than before.
He does, but you know what? Let me take it back, and I'm 37 now, and back in the day, I was the guy who was playing in arena, and Hamza and his friends were growing up, and they were watching us, and we were teaching them, coaching them, and stuff. So from that day till now, I'm just astonished how Yusuf, Hamza, Asim, and these guys are just showcasing their talent, right?
Yep.
You guys see it on the floor. Their tic-tac-toe, their hockey IQ. When that power play is not working, the whole team finds a way to adjust their strategy. Okay, that one-timer is not working. Let's switch it up. Let's try our secondary strategy. So they don't just have a one play, a two play. They actually have 1, 2, and 3 plays to find different tactics and different ways to for success. And Hamza being a key piece of that he has the vision to find the players, but also to snipe it. And I was on the other side of one of those goals before getting traded to win the cup on that season, where just he blasted it from close to center, and it just stayed true and up and just top shelf. I do want to take 1 second and say that our Player of the Week is sponsored by Stone Valley Countertops. So they specialize in countertops. So again, check them out on Stone Valley, Google it, and you can see all of their offerings on their website.
Yeah, and I want to mention also Hamza was actually the Player of the Week for week 2. Week 3 is actually Rayan.
Boom.
So that's a little bit of a mistake on our part here. But I think we were intending on putting all the players of the week. But just to clarify, it's actually Rayan, who is highly deserving of that honor this week because of the way he played in that Isan game.
Yeah, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. And we can speak on that a little bit later as well.
And in fact, that segues into what we were going to do, which is really talk about some of the players on each team. I know this is a picture of Rayan in Ikhlas from last year, but yeah, like he's been a force on that team, on that Isan team this year.
Yeah,
speed kills.
Well, I'll take it back to what RF always says: speed without direction is useless, right? So yes, speed kills, but Rayan is willing to sacrifice his body for the block. He's willing to make the dives to get the ball. He's about that second and third effort where you think he's on the floor and you've deked him or whatever, and he's on the floor, he's out. Guess what? He'll still try to flail around, try to use his stick, get back up, try to get back into the play. So, again, his stats prove it. 2 goals, 1 assist in a game that was tied after 1 period. He took it to the third. In the second period, the whole game changed really. So, well deserved for Player of the Week for this week.
Yeah, and I like Zuhair's comment here. Baby-faced assassin. That's a really great description, because he's just a cute little guy. You just want to go and twitch his cheeks there, but then when he plays like a beast, man. It's like it's different levels.
Fear.
So yeah, no fear whatsoever. So on that note here, we'll start again from here. Let's go with what's that?
Some more baby-faced assassins here.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of young guys that we wanted to really highlight, and we're starting with Bilal Mohiuddin from Team Iman here.
Correct. So Bilal Mohiuddin, he is he's one of the GMs for Iman, and he really has tried to lead by example. He was able to get his brother Rayan Mohiuddin on his team, just because, again, that family kind of get the family together. But he led the team with 1 goal and 4 assists, so 5 points in. Unfortunately, we have him listed as in 2 games. So I don't actually know if he's missed a game or not. But regardless, he's a force. He is a little guy, right?
He's defense,
size-wise,
right?
I think he might be the smallest guy in the league, to be honest. He looks so tiny out there, right?
Yeah.
But man, can he fly?
He can fly, and he's got the hands. Was it last week or the week before? He scored from an impossible angle, almost behind the goal line on the wing. So he's not afraid to take the chances, but he's also going to work hard and run back and just take every opportunity to score the goal, right? So this is one player that you just want to have on your team. You just love that attitude, and he's made players around him better. Hood. Again, I know Omar's called out Hood Khan. I've called him out. I even told him last week, I'm like, I don't know where this 2-goal performance your game one's come from, where you were just standing and DKing.
The wooden stick guy? Is this the guy?
He is.
This guy bringing more wooden sticks to the league?
Make him Faisal proud.
Jeez.
The wooden stick superstar.
This guy's scoring all those points.
Yeah. No, that's it's great to see. Like he's doing so well. I'm gonna say that Faisal had influence over the next generation by rewinding the clock and going away from composite sticks to wooden sticks. But hey, whatever they do, it's working out.
Maju, how old is Bilal? How old is the brother?
I believe he's 18 or 19.
Okay, good. So I mean, at the skill of his age, he's nothing but up at this point, right?
Yeah.
Hamza's like, no, he uses a regular stick. Wooden sticks are regular too. It used to be once in a
Hamza,
while.
I saw his wooden stick, so I can vouch that he does have a wooden stick and he's trying it out. So whether he's scoring up, that's a different story.
All right. So next we go to Team Haya, and we wanted to highlight Daoud Khan.
I played against him recently, and we joked around after the game, and he's a very smart player. He's positionally he positions himself very well. Tall, I would call him lanky. He's one of those players that he plays the right way, and he does what needs to be done. And he's a very smart for someone his age. He plays with a very high hockey IQ, and it's good to see coming from the young guys. So, and I think I told him after the game, I'm like, buddy, you add another 20 pounds and you're going to be a force of muscle, Maju. Muscle.
Are you trying to recruit more people to go be gym buddies with you, Hafbak?
Personal training online.
Is it because you want to train these people, or just so they can hold on to the camera while you TikTok?
But this is Bucks' answered everything. Hey, put 20 pounds, put 10 pounds on. You'll be good.
Just add 20 pounds and you're a monster. No, but all jokes aside, I mean, we even talked about him the previous season as well, and he's just one of those young rising stars, and I think just with time he'll just become a very reliable, smart D-man.
He's had the benefit, and again, I'll give it up to the players he's playing with as well. Not only to Daoud, who's super just receptive and wants to learn. He's been hard on himself. For silly mistakes, but hey, guess what? When you ice it or you just throw it against the net, there's nothing wrong. We're not getting penalties. So that frame of mind sometimes has to change away from the NHL kind of mindset. But last season he played with what's his team partner? Yeah, he played with one of the Sadat. That's it. Sorry, I was gonna say Sakib, but no, it was Sadat. And he's again this season he's paired with Sadat. But he also has he's also playing on the same team as Lukman. So kind of seeing that Sadat defensive mentality with the big body, willing to use his body. And you see Lukman, who's smaller, tries to use his body as well, but he has a different style of play. So I think Daoud and Omar has hit it best on a couple of weeks ago, where he sees a lot of potential in Daoud, and he definitely has a high ceiling on him. It's just how he takes that to the next level, but definitely nothing but
20 pounds.
All right, going from babyface assassins, we go to as Bucks likes to say, grizzled veteran, Hashim Chaudhary on Team Ikhlas.
Maju, go ahead.
So Hashim, unfortunately, right now he kind of gets lost in the mix. Right, everyone wants to be talking about Butter. Everyone wants to be talking about again. Ain't nobody better than Butter. But everyone wants to talk about Hamdani. Everyone wants to talk about Hamdani. There's Farooq Khan. So Hashim unfortunately gets a little bit lost in the mix right now. But he basically reminded people, don't forget about me. Right? He came through on that game time goal with his partner shoot, I can't remember again. I'm getting old. Gotta go to my notes. I am old, yeah. With Abdullah Patel, he managed to get those goals with that game time goal. So he has the mobility for a big guy. He has the mobility. He has the size, and he uses it. It's just I think some people are kind of not necessarily afraid of him, but he is intimidating. But if he can get that ball moving faster and get those passes out of the zone quicker, I think he will add an additional depth to his game, where people just don't see him as a stay-at-home D-man and just kind of just a one-dimensional player where he's more physical. He'll be able to add that extra layer to his game.
No, I see. Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Sorry,
Baksh. Okay. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I see like very much a forward mentality with him when it comes to like he
Mhm.
likes to pinch up, he likes to get into play. You know, he'll definitely try and score if it's right there for him. So I kind of like maybe we was a forward previously, and he kind of started playing D, and that's kind of where he's fit his niche. But maybe I see him more as like a 2-way, you know, front and back, like utility type of guy. But yeah, definitely offensive touch, bigger body. And I think just
Does he
I
need
think
to add
with
20 pounds too?
like anything over time, you can get better, and he has all the tools for everything.
And he has that 20 pounds
I
that you
think
like.
a guy like Hashim, because he's pretty versatile, right? Because he's got the physicality, he can play defense, but he also has some offensive upside. Someone like him, I think it's important that when he joins a team, he looks around and sees what the team's landscape looks like, and then adjust his game to best suit what that team needs. In a team like Ikhlas, where you have so much offensive firepower, you don't need a guy who's going to make, who's going to be a Kale Makar, right? You need a more of a defensive first mentality. And I think that's also one reason Farouk Khan on that team is playing so well this year. He knows exactly his role. So I think if Hashim can focus even more so on the defensive aspect, he's going to become an even more important part of that team's piece.
Well said.
All right. And then we have Mr. Fahad Panchbhai. Fahad, I love you, bro, but you look like a serial killer here. Who took this picture of him? Come on, there's so many nice pictures of Fahad. Why did we have to use this one?
Because this is the best picture we could get. Last season, he looked even more serial killer-ish.
Looks so menacing. The guy's like the nicest guy you'll ever meet, man. Come on,
he's got a smile on.
The comeback season for Fahad.
Dirty.
It was really good to see Fahad come back. He had an injury, a very a big injury that he just returned from the previous season, and he even told me outside the rink one time he was a little hesitant. I think he was second guessing himself a lot, and just trying to get back into his rhythm. And he has a very good offensive game, but he also has a grindy, chippy way of playing, which is good. He plays with an edge, and he doesn't back down. But I think he's. I think there's still more that he can do. I think he can be one of the better scorers in the league if he wants to. I think we just get different versions of him depending on the season or depending on the day.
I think last season he was drafted pretty high, and he put a lot of pressure on himself. And you know what? As the season progressed, he got better and better and better. And I think part of that comes from recovering from a serious injury, right? This year he's more relaxed. He's playing with his boys on I guess the Multon team, if you want to call them. So he seems much more relaxed at that. And I got to say, with Fahad, I remember playing on the same team many years ago when I think his first or second year in the league. I got to say, one thing that's amazing about him is that if you give him advice and you point out things that he can improve on, he really listens to it and tries his best to implement what makes sense. And on top of that, he appreciates even now. Like I know with other guys like myself and others, who's given him pointers. We don't take credit for his play, but he still comes to us and, hey man, I really appreciate how you guys helped me as I was coming up and stuff. So as veterans, it's also nice to hear that the guys that you might have given some advice to, they also appreciate it. So that appreciation and respect goes both ways.
Yeah, and I felt for him, and he just such a great player. I thought I'd just let him score last game. So just that empty net wide open on the side where Abdullah, where Abdullah found, where Abdul Manjur found him. Like, it's okay. I'll give him that goal. It's fine.
I had a great picture of that last podcast where I think him and Zia, they were like celebrating in mid shot. I don't have it handy here, but yeah, that was a great picture of that goal. Okay, moving on to the next one is none other than Mr. Omer Sayed on Team Sabr. Bakshi, your teammate and mine.
He is proving himself to be quite a penalty drawer. I have like the last game. I mean, he drew three
Three.
penalties for 3 power plays for us. So
And the week before too.
And the week before as well. He's very tenacious. Very he goes right at the ball. I can say it. Just he goes full tilt. He doesn't leave anything out there, and that's the one thing I really like about him. He plays with a lot of intensity, and defensively he's also plays very well. That's why we trust him to play defense sometimes here and there when needed. But he's definitely. I think he's building a little bit of a niche for himself, being a very like tenacious forechecker and someone who can play on the PK as well.
He's the quintessential grinder player, right? Like that's what you want out of a guy like him. He's the type of guy that you hate playing against, but but you love having him on your team, right? He's a great teammate, and when he goes out there, he puts so much energy into every shift. It gets everyone else going too.
Yeah, 100%. And you know what? I think also like give him an opportunity. I think he can score too. I just I don't want to limit his potential just to defensive play. I think the brother can probably pot in some goals too. I just think his game is very tenacious and yeah, like it's just exactly grinder, like Matt Cook, Sean Avery without the yapping.
Yeah, Sean Avery is a jerk. Omeyer isn't.
I love how he just walks away. When everyone gets in his face, he just walks.
He's just quiet. Yeah, he just goes about his business. Speaking of people who take care of their business, Moltz.
Moltz is not a rising star. Moltz is an established grizzled veteran. Look at that beard.
He's a giant dwarf.
Wow. I think it's
really
no
rising star. The other end of it is a. Never mind. After that, it becomes you, Bucks, which is a black hole.
Hey, brown hole. The great thing about Moltz.
After dark.
The great thing about Amr Motani, aka Moltz, is that he keeps reminding us that he's still very good at hockey. So he plays and he goes away for a couple seasons. He plays and. But you know what? Like I said before, speaking to him, his hockey IQ will always be there, and he knows where to go. He knows where to be, and he knows where to position himself. And I think if you put good players around him, I think he's someone that can elevate his game to wherever he needs to. But alternatively, I think the latter is also true. That if you put him around not so great players, he needs to play with good players.
I say this quite a bit to a lot of people I talk to is that as players become older, you have to reassess your play style that got you the success in your earlier years. Can you still use that play style to have success moving forward? In other words, guys who are, let's say, great snipers early on in their career, I want to say, maybe they don't have the same speed or shot or whatnot, but you can still be effective by changing your game. I think with Amer, the last few years, he was in between trying to figure it out. He used to be a sniper, then he tried to become a grinder, but that's not really who he is and in terms of a player. I think he's still a great sniper, but I think he needs to step more into a supportive role where he helps like the top lines by being there and not just grinding but scoring from the hash marks and whatnot. Like he's not going to be a guy who's going to necessarily carry your team, but put him on a top line and he will have great production. And I think that's what is happening. At least that's what happened last game.
He's someone you can put up and down the lineup, and he can produce for you.
He can. I just, I had the pleasure of playing with him in right after COVID season, and then last season he was with Haya, and last season again the defensive mind of Haya didn't really fit to his style. Right? He's a forward. He needs to be out there, kind of roaming around. But what I find sometimes where he's kind of double cocking or just thinking a lot more than he should is when he gets the ball. It's like, oh, I need to pass it, or should I shoot it? Should I pass it? And it's like it's that extra decision where I think he's still finding that rhythm, being off for I think 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
He's still trying to find that like reassess himself and just kind of understand where does he plug into the team. Right now, if he's being told just shoot it, like just give her, then he has that mentality and he's able to score those 2 goals.
Yeah.
Right. So
And that's what I'm saying, right? He earlier on he had success as being a sniper, and then I think he lost a little bit of his confidence when he came back, and then he's like, you know what, maybe I don't have it anymore. I'm gonna start becoming a grinder, and he did that, and that's not his game. He was okay,
yeah.
but that's not his game. He needs to get back to just being a pure sniper and just have confidence. As Habibi says, trust the process, right? So trust the fact that your shot will get you goals. Just get in the spot, and guys like Hamza and Omar Hussein and RC, they will find you.
Most definitely.
Cool. So that was our player spotlights from each of the teams. Inshallah, we would like to continue to do more of these. So, I encourage guys from all the teams to present who you think we should spotlight. Because again, at the rink, we don't get to talk to everyone necessarily. But if there's inside stories and inside spotlights that need to be shone upon people, please help us in finding those.
Yeah, and please again, come talk to us, right? We don't know who
Talk
you
to
are.
Maju. He wants to be talked to.
I don't know if you're all wearing the same cage, same helmet. I don't know who you are. It's kind of hard for me to figure that out at the time. So,
and you can't miss Maju. He's the guy with the big blue jersey all the time.
Never washed. No, I'm kidding.
Oh God. Yeah. So if you can't find Maju, just sniff him out. He's apparently he doesn't wash his clothes.
Ew.
All right, boys. Let's move on. We only have less than 10 minutes, so we're gonna do this rapid fire style. So don't spend too much time on each one. I'm just gonna give each one of you one of them to handle. So first one, let's go with Bakshi, because Maju's gonna play in that game anyway. So we'll go with Bakshi on that.
It's gonna be a T Park show. It's gonna be T Park. Yakin. Sorry, it's gonna be Yakin.
Okay,
I don't know.
Succinct enough, sure. Game 2, I was hoping a little bit more color, but sure. Sabr and Ikhlas.
It's gonna be T Park.
Fine, Sabr and Ikhlas, Maju.
I think this is going to be a tight game. Now, I'm hoping Sabr has found their rhythm. Their GMs are back, everyone back. It's going to be a matter of where the cohesiveness comes in, where that who's Chauhan going to be playing with, who he feels comfortable with. I know Chauhan and Kagzi was just a phenomenal success a couple of seasons ago. Will they be reunited? Are they going to be split up again? So what's happening there? Butter on Ikhlas, I believe he's still missing this week. So that's a challenge that Ikhlas has to overcome. Unfortunately, I will call Ikhlas out on it. They've made some bad decisions in the end of a game or taking some bad penalties that have really cost them a lot, and not moving the ball quickly out of the zone is costing them certain aspects in their game. So I'm just hoping that Ikhlas can kind of come together, come as a full cohesive unit from front to back and back to front, including the goalie. Right, Badger's a great goalie. Letting in 5 is tough, and can he bounce back? So it's just that cohesiveness will lead to Ikhlas success. But Sabr is no joke. They're in it. They're going to come out strong. So it's going to be a very tight game. I think this is the game to watch this week.
Sakib is not going to dance around me, okay? I'm sorry. I'm just going to put that out there. And Zoo, you're not going to dive around me either, okay? We're not going to take any of these diving penalties around here.
Well, unfortunately, I won't be at this game. It is a week that unfortunately I will be a scratch, but I would have loved to have played against Ikhlas, especially also meet Mr. Hamdani himself. Brother, if you're watching, inshallah, I'll have to catch you next time. But I'm sure my team, they'll do fine, more than fine without me. But this is a game that I think will be fun to watch, and too bad I'm going to miss it. That said, the third game will be Haya versus Ihsan. So Haya just coming off of 5 goals, Ihsan also coming off of 4. I think this might actually be a very close 1-1 game or something, right? It's when two teams are that high powered, plus you have two pretty good goalies. It might be a small score here.
I'm gonna give the edge to Haya. I think.
Yeah, why?
I think they're a little cheat. I think they're a little ticked off with how they've been playing, and we're up to their standards. And I think they're gonna come out guns a blazing. And I think also they have a little bit more size on his on, just as a team. So I think they'll I think they'll put a little bit more pressure on the body. Maju.
I'm actually going to say the other side. I think Ihsan is
No!
finally finding their rhythm, and they're looking at that, just building off the success again. Who shows up is always the key, right? Is Ali coming? Is Safe coming? Is Park? Yeah, like who's actually showing up, right? If the GMs, everyone shows up, I think it's going to be a great game.
Who is
It
this guy?
definitely will be very tight.
So you guys are split, right?
Yeah.
All right. I think it'll just be a tie. We'll see. Rida versus Taqwa, the last game of the night. I'm gonna
Can I
say
take this?
Taqwa. I'm gonna say Taqwa, but sure, yeah, go ahead, Maju.
Rida, please take more than 4 shots. That's really it. That's what it's going to come down to. Like Madden Bucks over here. That is saying the team who scores the most goals wins and allows the least. Yeah, absolutely. So Rida, you guys played tough last week, but you guys need to click, find that rhythm. Taqwa will take it to you. If you thought Yaqeen was difficult, Taqwa just has the same mentality. They're going to come at you. You got to spread the floor, find what you guys do best, and take it to them. So this is going to be another one of those high-powered games to watch, but it's an 11 o'clock game. So it's the challenge is like who's still awake, who's kind of already starting to fall asleep. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here.
I feel bad for the goalies because I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring affair on both sides. I think it might
I'm almost tempted to change my call and say Rida just because of the Kapoor factor, because Yusuf has been playing amazing, and if Rida wins, I think it's going to be because Kapoor just steals the show here. But if he doesn't play up to what he can, I think Taqwa's offense is going to really take it here.
Fair.
So those are our predictions, everyone. Thank you once again for joining Rexdale Royalty. Good to
Arf,
hear
can I
from
just
you again.
Can I throw a real quick announcement in here?
Yeah, go for it.
I wanted to just let everyone who's spectating and watching the games, we want to get more video clips out there, and I know everyone's got their phone, everyone's looking at the game. So if you guys want to just take some video clips, send it into your GM chats or send it to us directly if you can. We want to just get more video clips of the games so we can actually share during the podcast and during our clips and whatnot. So if you guys are, watching the game, take some clips, send it in. We'll try and make something snazzy to kind of entice people into doing more of that. But I personally want more video clips, and I know that during the playoffs we get a lot of them. So I want to just during the season everyone's watching. So guys on the sidelines watching the Malton, the T-Parks, the Maliks, all the family members, everyone, send the clips.
And if you're taking clips, for God's sake, keep the damn camera steady. All right, we don't want these earthquake pictures either or videos. So, anyways,
World Star.
Definitely, send us stuff. And with that, let's just end it here, boys. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Thank you, Baksh and Maju. And I won't see you guys tomorrow, but inshallah, I'll see you next week. So take lots of notes because we'll need it for next podcast next week.
Inshallah.
Here, boys.
All right,
Everyone,
boys.
talking.